From among the graduating batch, a speaker was chosen to articulate the experiences, lessons, hopes, and aspirations of all his fellow graduates. We shall now listen to the Angelite speech of Mark Erickson Tuazon Bayani.
It took me 6 years to get my degree. 6 years. And no, not because I spent my days in computer shops playing video games and failed my subjects, or I hated my course, or I fell in love that I was willing to give everything up. No, it's not because of any of that. It took me 6 years because we didn't have the money. At 18, I found out we can't afford college. So just 2 weeks after my birthday, right after I graduated senior high school, I was applying for work. And exactly 6 years ago today, May 27, I was hired in a BPO company. I vividly remember how most of my days were covered with darkness, grieving from the dreams that were never mine, and living through the nights as a call center agent. Every morning, I'd go home from work, I would see students in their uniforms going to school. In those mornings, I remember painfully telling myself, that should be me. I was just a kid, so innocent of the politics of life, yet I was there. But I didn't lose hope. At 19, I took the biggest risk I have ever taken in my life. I enrolled myself in college. I didn't have work, no sponsors, no scholarships. All I had was a dream. But just when I got the chance to pursue my dreams, the world had shut down. At 20, the pandemic happened. Since I was only relying on paid talent gigs, I didn't have the resources to continue my education. Yet again, I was there. The broken pieces of myself and my dream, slowly put back together, are starting to fall apart once again. I was hopeless because at the time, it felt as though no matter how much I tried, it was not just for me. During those times, my family making ends meet seemed so impossible. We were so worried about putting food on our table, and the worst of all was losing electricity numerous times because we couldn't pay for it. So how can I dream if amidst a global pandemic, we were facing another one at home? Caught up in a horrendous situation of fear, desperation, and hopelessness, I decided to work again. At 21, despite being 2 years delayed and behind in college, I knew I was determined enough to continue. So I re-enrolled myself. Coming in with fear of so many things, I did my best to be the kindest, most competent version of myself. At 22, I felt so fulfilled and accomplished with the things I was able to do, the friends I have made, and the person that we have become. I told myself, finally, things are happening for me. This is my time. I was shining. My friends and I, we were shining. All of us, we were shining, and it felt like the world was our oyster. But at 23, I had health concerns and faced crisis, bringing me to a spiral of depression. I disappeared, and I slowly watched my life fall apart. My achievements were overshadowed by my shortcomings. Some of my friends concluded I was evil and conniving. And from being the leader I thought I was I became incompetent. And when things fell apart, I wish someone had asked if I was okay, because no one ever did. But despite how my life sunk to the rock bottom, a saving grace came in the face of a mother's love, unconditional and perfect. It came from strangers revealed as real friends who never left, and of people who helped me pull myself out of a dark situation, my mentors and my sponsors, such as the Pampangueño Club of Melbourne. Thank God I was saved by these people, because otherwise all of my hard work will just go to waste. I survived. For the last 6 years, this was my life. A student in the morning, and at night, while the world is dreaming, I'm working, wide awake, dreaming for my dreams. I have lived 2 lives exactly at the same time. And in those years, I have been given endless millions of reasons to give up. From heavy financial difficulties, experiencing verbal, mental, and physical abuse, to my health deteriorating. But all I needed was one good reason to continue. I knew my story was meant for a greater purpose. Because despite all of that, in my college life, we were able to lead and pursue projects for advocacies and social political causes close to our hearts, such as gender equality through LGBTQ+ and women empowerment, mental health, and HIV and AIDS awareness. Make history on competitions we have joined, such as my department, School of Arts and Sciences, placing as first runner-up in the university days for the first time for Best Dance Crew competition, and mentor young communication students through my life experiences and field expertise. Alongside those, I was also growing, healing, and becoming, and I was in a constant pursuit to raise a flag of inspiration to working students to whom I dedicate a part of this success. Graduating as a magna cum laude while working a 9-hour shift 5 days a week to finance my education, all the while juggling academics, because I know they are doing that too. For 6 years, against all odds, I took my chance. I went out there and forged my own path. Although it came with a price, it is a price I paid so fiercely and fearlessly, in spite of all the despites. If you'll ask me, have I been given the privilege to study college? Will I take it? Well, my 18-year-old self would probably say yes. Because you see, everyone deserves to have a normal college life. And no kid deserves to go through what I have gone through. But my 24-year-old self would probably say no. Because I wouldn't trade everything I have learned and the person I have become for comfort. So why am I telling you all of this? Honestly, I don't know either. But here's what I know. Someone here might be going through something similar, whether caught up in a circumstance where they have to give up their dreams to support their families, lost in trying to figure everything out and make sense of their tapestries. Or they feel like they've been left behind by life and their aspirations seem so far away. And as I deliver this speech today, it is with hope that my story may guide as a light, illuminating that person's life. Because sometimes, all we need is to know that we are never alone. And in our journeys, we are joined and accompanied by genuine souls who share the same story of finding their way in the world. Viktor Frankl said, "Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose." When life presents us a situation we can't change, we are challenged to reinvent ourselves, to shred every fiber of our being, to live through it and survive. No guarantee if we'll emerge victoriously, but it's a guarantee that we'll emerge stronger. That, for me, is victory. Because it will allow us to find reasons for things and become purposeful. Life is emotionally abusive, and if it breaks us, our shattered pieces can glisten, but only if we let the light in and see the silver linings. We are mirror balls. We are a reflection of so many things all at once. As we all graduate and become writers of our own life stories, always remember a story worth sharing is a life worth suffering. So to you listening right now, know that you have the ability to rewrite your own destiny, to change the narrative, and to turn things around. You have the right to screw things up, learn, and come back even stronger. You are free to shape your own reality and to arrive at your chosen destination. Because if I made it, that means you can too. Life is not a race. It is a blank canvas ready for you to paint at your own color, at your own pace, at your own timeline. So don't be afraid. All you have to do is try and take that fearless first step, no matter how many there are. Because at the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can. Laos Deus Semper. Dakal pong salamat.